Now, this is the Fox 11 5 o'clock news.
Felicity Huffman learns her fate in the college admissions scandal, and it includes jail time. Good evening. Welcome to Fox 11 5 o'clock news. I'm Alex Michelson.
And I'm Marla Tejas here for Christine Devine. Prosecutors argue the actress should spend at least 1 month in prison.
Well, she is going to jail, but not for a month. Let's go to Matt Johnson. He's live in Exhibition Park with all the details. Matt.
Shockwaves across the country, including universities like this one. Marla, Alex, I was speaking to students all day today after the news broke right here on Fox 11, and they say that they are shocked and surprised. Not everyone agrees that this was a fair sentence for Huffman, but what everyone does agree on, they tell me this: they'll be glad when this scandal is over. Actress Felicity Huffman not answering questions after being sentenced to 14 days behind bars for her involvement in the college admissions scandal.
This is a big surprise to most people because I think if you ask 9 out of 10 people what they expected, probation was predominantly the response we were getting.
Criminal defense attorney and legal analyst Louis Shapiro.
The fact that she's going into custody, that is the judge sending a message to the rest of the world that any attempt to undermine academic integrity is not going to be treated lightly by the court.
Huffman pleaded guilty to a single count of conspiracy back in May. Her attorneys had pushed for probation. Today, the actress was tearful as she addressed the court, telling the judge, quote, "I broke the law and have admitted that and pleaded guilty to this crime. There are no excuses or justifications for my actions, period." Huffman is one of 51 people charged in what is called the biggest college admissions case ever prosecuted by the Justice Department, involving elite universities including Yale, Stanford, UCLA, and USC, where there was mixed reaction.
Frankly, I think it's harsh.
I was expecting her to get 14 days because she's white with money.
It's extremely frustrating what happened, of course. We all want fair chances, and when things like that happen, it hurts the university, it hurts me, it hurts a lot of us.
And along with 14 days behind bars, a $30,000 fine, and at least 250 hours community service. And you know what? Lori Laughlin's team watching this one very closely. We're live here in Exposition Park. I'm Matt Johnson. Now back to you in the studio.
Of course, Lori Loughlin has not pled on this one. He's pled not guilty. So we're going to talk more with Lou Shapiro, who you just heard from in Matt's piece. We're going to get his thoughts on today's development, get more sort of into the details of what could be happening to Lori Loughlin. That's coming up a little bit later on in the show. Up next, Felicity Huffman gets jail time in the college admissions scandal. Legal analyst Lou Shapiro will be here to discuss what it means for other defendants. Will they have the symbolic equivalence of what we just saw?
Felicity Huffman sentenced to just 14 days in jail for her role in the college admissions scandal.
Join us now to talk more about this story is criminal lawyer and legal analyst Lou Shapiro. You saw Lou in Matt's story a little earlier in the newscast, but the number one comment we get from viewers is, "We need more Lou." So now
Yes.
we are giving you more Lou. So your big reaction to this, the big takeaway for you?
I think the big takeaway is that most people did not expect any custody time on this case. I mean, here we have a woman who has no record. She seemed to demonstrate sincere remorse. When she was given the opportunity to do the same thing again, she said no when she didn't know she was under investigation. So this is a big surprise, I think, to most people.
But if you look online, though, the other side of the coin is this is way too lenient.
Right. So really nobody is happy on this one. The people that thought that she should go into custody, you know, this it could go either way because is it in custody, is it not in custody? The people that thought she should, you know, not be in custody, well, they're outraged right now. So nobody's really happy. It's not enough time or it's too little time.
So 14 days, does she serve all 14 days, and what do those days look like? What kind of place does she end up in?
Right, so in the federal system, someone does the entire time.
Okay.
On anything under a year. So she's going to do the 14 days, and I suspect the work will be maybe harder for the government than on her, actually, because they have to keep her in a segregated area. She's obviously high risk, so it's not going to be pleasurable, but she'll get through it.
So if you're Lori Loughlin and her husband at this moment, what are they thinking?
Because, of course, they haven't pled to anything.
Right. They rejected a plea deal.
Right. They were obviously studying this very carefully. And you could assume they're going to be regrouping next week in a meeting to decide what should we do next. Because I think that window of taking a deal probably has opened again, momentarily. because now they've seen that this judge means business. There is serious time that she's looking at. I think she has an opportunity to go back to the prosecution and say, what was my offer? Let's get back to talking about it.
But she's at more risk, right? Because she spent more money?
Right. Technically, there's a big difference between $500,000 and $15,000. But the judge said earlier in the week at a hearing that the money is not really driving him so much in this case as the acts themselves. So I don't know if that's going to be a decisive factor.
But what about the demeanor of each one? So as you said, that Huffman showed remorse, and Lachlan not necessarily has done that.
Right. I think the judge is looking for humility, and he actually said to Huffman in sentencing that he saw that, and he gave her words of encouragement that you're going to get past this. You're going to recover. You've paid your debt to society, and you will be okay after this.
Is there precedent on this sort of case? Has this sort of thing of this scope happened somewhere else?
Both sides in their sentencing briefs tried to cite similar cases, but there's nothing quite like this, nothing to this extent, nothing this sophisticated with so many people involved that went so deep. So this is a first-time thing.
And if you were representing Lachlan, what would you tell her?
I would tell her we need to regroup and we need to really start thinking about an offer because the evidence is not looking so hot right now.
Well, clearly they were trying to send a message, and now we will actually see the star of Desperate Housewives behind bars.
Right. The next time somebody thinks about messing with the academic system, they're going to think twice about it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Lou Shapiro. Thank you so much for
Glad
the
to be
time.
back with you guys.
And viewers, you got more Lou.
At no charge.